Good morning. All right, we're going to go ahead and do our reading lesson. Now, last night or yesterday, you should have read the first part of the story. So it was the story Alone Over the Atlantic. And this, I believe, is a story about the Spirit of St. Louis, which was Charles Lindbergh's plane that he flew over the Atlantic. So anyway, and this part was called Only 5 Sandwiches. Anyway, so I hope you like. I'm not going to ask you any discussion questions or anything like that over this. We're just going to actually go right into the work text pages, okay? So, and then your assignment after the work text pages today, which I'm going to do those with you, and then your only other assignment is to finish reading the story, okay? And then in tomorrow's video, I'll help you with those 2 pages as well. All right? All right, this is a way to kind of keep our videos down where you don't have to just sit and look at the screen all day. So anyway, all right, so let's go ahead and get your work text out, page 169. I hope you liked that story. All right, so what we're going to do on page 169, if you're not there, pause it. All right, so on page 169, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be working with definitions and definitions from a glossary. So if you notice at the very top, there's a plane right in the middle, and then above that airplane, there are some words as if they were written in a glossary. Okay, notice the words that are written in bold black. Those are your entry words. Those are the words that you look up. Okay, and then right beside each entry word, do you see those lines that go like this and some really weird letters in there? That's the pronunciation. That teaches you how to pronunciate or pronounce a word correctly. And then beside the funny looking letters, there's either noun or verb or something like that. That tells you what part of speech. Is this word used as a noun or is it generally a verb? And then beside each one of those, you'll see a number 1, and in some of them a number 2 and a number 3. What that means is that particular entry word can mean 3 different things. Or if there's number 1 and number 2, that means it can mean 2 different things. You know words that mean 2 different things or 3 different things. All right, so what we have to do is where it says which one, this is right underneath the plane, we have to read the sentence and then we have to find the bold word in the glossary above, and we have to write the number of the definition that fits the meaning of the word in the sentence. Okay, so number 1, the Spirit of St. Louis disappeared over the horizon. All right, so look up, we're looking at the word horizon. So look up at the glossary. Do you find the word horizon? All right, now, do you see that there are 2 definitions for horizon? There's a number 1, and then up on the other side, there's a number 2. So there's 2 things that horizon would mean. The first definition says, the place where the earth and sky appear to meet. The second definition is the range of a person's experiences and interests. So which one of those definitions means that it disappeared over the horizon? Would you say number 1? Me too, because that's where the earth and the sky meet. And so that sentence is talking about the plane went off over the horizon. Well, it's talking about the earth where the sky and the earth meet. So number 1 is 1. Okay? All right, I'm going to help you with number 2 and number 3, and then we're going to pause it and see if you can answer the rest of them, okay? Number 2, the small biplane taxied down the runway. All right, we're looking up the word runway, so let's look up there. Okay, runway is a noun. So there's 2 definitions. It can mean the place where airplanes take off and land, or a ramp up to a stage. Well, number 2 is talking about a plane, the small biplane, so obviously it's definition number 1. Number 3, Jonathan and Michael burst out laughing at the riddle. We're looking at the word burst. So find it up there at the top. It happens to be the first one. There's 3 definitions for burst. Number 1 is to explode. Number 2 is to come in or go out suddenly. Number 3 is a sudden outbreak or rush. Jonathan and Michael burst out laughing at the riddle. Well, they didn't explode. That would be pretty disgusting. They didn't come in or go out somewhere, but they did suddenly break out into laughter, right? So it would be number 3. Number 3 is 3. Okay, so for 4, 5, 6, and 7, I'm not grading this page, okay? I want you to pause this, and I want you to finish those 4, and then turn it back on, and let's see how many of those you can get on your own. Okay, I hope you finished them. You ready? Number 4, you should have gotten 1. Number 4 is 1. Number 5 is 2. Number 6 is 2. And number 7 is 2. If you got all of those right, then I want you to put a big fat smiley face right underneath that airplane over there on the right hand side. That way, whenever your Nana sends me the picture, I can look at it and say, psh, he got all those right. Okay? Now, if you missed one, that's okay. But I'd like to know, okay? All right. At the very bottom, it says which one, or write one. I can't even read. It says read the definition for each word from the glossary and write a sentence using the word correctly. So, number 1, it wants us to use the word strip, definition 2. So, look up at the top and find the entry word strip and find the second definition. A cartoon story in the newspaper. Okay, your job is to write a sentence using the word strip like that. A cartoon story in the newspaper. Okay, so how about, because I'm having a sneaking suspicion that perhaps you don't know what that means. Perhaps you do. Let me write the sentence and you copy it, okay? All right, so a cartoon story in the newspaper. So in a newspaper, they have sections, okay? And in one of the sections of the newspaper, typically they have what they call comics or funnies or something like that, okay? So they call it a comic strip. So let's put here, Dad read the comic strip in the newspaper. Okay? Now, I only did that because I'm not sure if you're very familiar with newspapers. I know they kind of get a little bit old right now, but we still need them. So you need to write that down. Okay? So go ahead and pause it while you do that. Okay. Number 2, burst, but definition number 1, the one to explode. I want you to pause this and you write a sentence using the word burst, meaning to explode. Okay, I hope you wrote that definition. Let's turn the page to page 170. Today we're going to skim an article. When you skim an article, that means you just kind of look over it. You don't really sit and read it like with a fine-tooth comb. You just kind of look over it a little bit. Oftentimes, you read the first sentence of each paragraph because that'll give you kind of the main idea of what each paragraph talks about. Okay, so anyway, so what we're going to do is I want you, there's a picture of Charles Lindbergh. It's a real picture there too. So what I want you to do is you're going to pause this because this is something you have to do. I can't help you with this. You're going to press pause in just a second. And this purple box where it says a special plane, I don't want you to read the whole thing. Just want you to skim over it. Read the first sentences of every paragraph. Kind of just look over it a little bit. See where your eyes go. Just kind of read a sentence here, sentence there, and then answer the 3 questions at the bottom. You're only going to circle A, B, or C. Okay? When you're done, turn this back on, and I want to go over the answers with you to see how well you can skim an article. Go ahead and pause it. Okay, I'm hoping that you skimmed the article and that you answered the questions at the bottom. If you get these wrong, that's okay. I'm not grading this paper, okay? All right, on number 1, you should have circled B. On number 2, you should have circled C. And number 3 would have been A. Okay, now if you miss those, I want you to put an X beside them or circle it or something. That way I can kind of see what you missed, okay? So 1 is B, 2 is C, and 3 is A, okay? Okay, so your only assignment is to finish reading the rest of the story, Alone Over the Atlantic, okay? Part 2. And that is all for today.